This quick review will take a look at the John Benet Ramsey case, and there's been a lot of talk about whether she was killed by someone in the household, or someone that came in from the outside into the household. And there's been a lot of talk about that on TV, and the case remains unsolved. And here's a quick look of different viewpoints on that particular subject matter. One moment, please.
But 9 Wants to Know decided to focus on the one piece of evidence heralded as key to solving this crime. DNA that's been in the FBI's national database since 2003. DNA that Boulder's former district attorney is certain belongs to the killer. But now a 9 News Boulder Daily Camera investigation found it's evidence that may be worthless in terms of solving this case, putting that DNA in doubt. It's a murder with 2 competing theories. John Benet Ramsey was either killed on Christmas night 1996 by someone in her family, or she was killed by an intruder. For more than a decade, those theories played out in the tabloids, on talk radio, even inside the investigation. Then on July 9, 2008,
attorney says new DNA evidence in the murder of John Benet Ramsey.
Boulder District Attorney Mary Lacey fully embraced the intruder theory.
Clears her family of any involvement in her death.
That just baffled my mind.
Shocking fellow prosecutors.
I wouldn't have done it because I don't think that's the role of the district attorney.
Her successor.
I was stunned. I was also appalled.
And even the Colorado governor, who assembled a task force to look into the case.
I couldn't see any reason based on what she said for her to do so. Had never seen anything like that in the past from any other prosecutor, and just couldn't believe she chose to do that.
Lacey's decision was based on DNA she said was conclusive. DNA she said John Benet's killer left behind on her panties and long johns. DNA that would crack the case if it could just be identified or matched. But the actual DNA test results Mary Lacey used to clear the Ramseys, obtained exclusively by 9 News and the Boulder Daily Camera, tell a very different story.
So I was always surprised at what she did, and now I'm deeply concerned.
It's the latest controversy in a case full of problems. A bungled crime scene, infighting among investigators and prosecutors.
First of all, many of you know that last week,
A decision by former District Attorney Alex Hunter to drop.
And that's a little review, a portion of it. Let me advance this a bit.
What has been attributed to a single individual actually represents DNA from multiple individuals that has been sort of hobbled together into a single profile.
Well, it's a rather obvious point, but I mean, if you're looking for somebody who doesn't exist because it's actually several people, it's a problem.
And as for the DNA on the long johns, heralded by Lacey as conclusive, our experts believe those 2 spots are mixtures of genetic material from more than 2 people.
It looks and appears to me to be at least 3 individuals. And so that there's a mixture here that's not just a single profile.
Which is precisely what Mary Lacey knew before she exonerated the Ramseys. This report, obtained by 9 News and the Daily Camera, went to Lacey's office 3 months before she cleared the family. Of the 2 spots on John Benet's long johns, the report says it's likely more than 2 people contributed to the mixtures. And after eliminating John Benet's DNA, the remaining DNA contribution should not be considered a single source profile.
She knew, based on your investigation, that this DNA wasn't necessarily from one person, and that it in fact was potentially accumulated DNA. She knew it at the time, and why she used this evidence to clear the Ramsey family then, a clearance that has continued because it's on the public record through today, is something I can't explain, and she should explain.
And that's the governor, former governor of Colorado. Let me advance this a bit more. One moment, please.
Even psychology, we like to see patterns. We like to see puzzle pieces fitted together.
Confirmation bias can affect how an investigator with a theory interprets evidence.
You tend to believe data, which confirms your hypothesis. You tend to think of explanations to refute data, which do not support your hypothesis.
Case in point, these never-before-seen emails. They show that after preliminary tests found the presence of unknown male DNA on John Benet's long johns, An investigator in Lacey's office replied that his bosses didn't see the need for additional testing.
It sounds like they got a result that they were looking for and decided to quit while they were ahead.
The lab that Lacey used later provided her with reports showing that the unknown DNA on the Long Johns was likely part of a mixture of genetic material from more than 2 people, but that was never before made public until now. She issued her exoneration in spite of the confusing DNA results, an exoneration the family still points to as proof they were not involved. Just last month, Ramsey lawyer Lynn Wood used the exoneration to challenge news reports suggesting it could be a family member who killed John Benet. In a tweet, Wood said, in 2008, Boulder DA publicly exonerated them and apologized. DNA evidence conclusive. End of story. And in another...
And let me advance this a bit.
For a new round of DNA testing.
What we're focusing on is solving the case and proving the case. As you know, it's been 20 years and that's not happened.
It's Boulder County District Attorney Stan Garnett's job to file charges against whoever killed that 6-year-old girl in December 1996, if and when the evidence supports it. And now his office is working with Boulder Police to plan a new round of DNA tests.
Certainly the Ramsey case, there's a whole lot more to that case than DNA. DNA is a part of it. We got to make sure that it's tested appropriately through up-to-date modern methods, and we will make sure that happens.
And that's review. As you can see, there's a lot of discrepancy about that case, whether it was done from somebody inside or somebody came from the outside. And that's just a quick review, and that'll do it.